Chief here, and I have another thought. So today, I was thinking about enemies, and who are our enemies? Because what I see today in this protest, I think we obviously know who our enemy is. It's the white man, or white supremacy, which is white supremacy definitely is something to battle. And maybe I'll speak on what I think white privilege is another day, because I think it's something that that all communities implore, and except for ours, and that's why we're probably so mad at it. But another day. But today I want to talk about enemies, because during these protests and everything, and I think if you've seen any of the previous videos, you know what I think, that this is a communist infiltration. So what a lot of people are saying is that the enemy of my enemies is my friend. And I don't think that should be the case, and we actually need to deny that type of thinking, because we're only choosing one or two sides, and we're actually not dictating any of the mores or any of the actionable items or anything on the other side. We're only grafting ourselves onto someone else's movement, just because they say Black Lives Matter. And that's another thing that I think that we need to stop saying immediately, because they don't matter until we build our own communities and we can make them matter. Because if we're dependent on us mattering to other people, especially considering the history that the critical theorists are theorizing or bastardizing, I think that is just, it's foolish, because we're not dictating any of it. It's happening again. Our cities are being destroyed, our neighborhoods are being burnt to the ground like it was in the 60s, and then what happens, all the white liberals leave with all the money, and now we're dealing with shards, and we're dealing with ashes, and we don't have the infrastructure or anything, or the money, even though this Black Lives Matter movement and all these movements are gaining so much, being given so much money, it's not being seen. So who's really our enemy? Who's really our enemy? Is it both sides? Because I know I've never said Black Lives Matter except for in context to demean it. But I feel like that a lot of our people are only saying that regardless of how the organization behaves, because they're only going on the opposite side of what they believe who white folks are, or who white people are. Because they believe that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And the enemy of the white supremacists now is just ideology. Because I think that the critical theorists are white supremacists as well. So we're pretty much siding with both on both sides every time we say Black Lives Matter. Because our people get in an uproar when someone says, a black person or anyone says, I'm tired of this Black Lives Matter shit, or I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of it too. Because it doesn't make, ever since the beginning, when I first read their website and I saw what they're about, I was like, I'll never say this. Never. I'll never tweet it. I'll never hashtag none of that shit. But our people, a lot of our people, just want to graft themselves onto on a narrative that's opposite of, what the suspected white supremacists are doing. And it just doesn't seem right, because we're the ones not making any of the terms. We're not even we're not deciding any of the curriculum that these critical theorists are saying that's going to help us for some reason. We're not even in charge of the money and where it's going. That's why there's nothing tangible being sought from this except for the burning of buildings and the institution of critical racist theory. So the enemy of our enemy is not our friend. Maybe the enemy of our enemy is just our enemy as well, and that we have to figure out ways to empower ourselves that don't have to do with destroying others, or it's not even destroying them. It's just really being a nuisance, as the wealth gap gets way larger, and these were pretty much, I think they all were just distractions, and used as reasons for the globalists to expand their power, which they have undoubtedly. And they're actually on the side of the revolution, the Black Lives Matter revolutionaries, and we don't see that as, you know, we're not even suspicious of that for some reason, because all someone has to say is, you know, I hate Black Lives Matter, or, you know, and we're like, oh, that's just a proxy for all black people. It's like, it may be, but that doesn't mean you say Black Lives Matter. It's just like I think about, like, Google it. Like, you know, we don't realize how that damned us, you know, because we made sure that Google was the arbiter or the maven for information. And it's not. It's not. 30 years, even that's being generous, 30 years of mass usage of the internet has absolutely nothing. Google does not have a fraction of the information that's out there in the world. They don't have a fraction of it. They only have a fraction of it, excuse me. So for us to, but that's what we did was invigorate that word, that phrase, Google it, and it made Google the most powerful, one of the most powerful and richest and wealthiest and most influential companies on the planet, all because we said Google it. And what did that do? That sent a lot of people to Google to do research. And what does Google do now? Since they are the arbiter of information and everyone's going there for their information, now they can censor, now they can curate the websites or the internet exactly how they want, because they know that everyone's going to them to seek information. Google's not a bad place to start, but at the same time, for anybody to think that Googling it means that you're going to access some really, you know, some really good information is, you know, it's foolish. But anyway, the enemy of our enemy is not our friend. The enemy of our enemy is just another enemy. And we have to be the ones who are deciding the direction that we want to go to. And we can't invigorate words. We can't give power to words like Black Lives Matter, or phrases, or whatever the fuck, organizations like Black Lives Matter. We can't split them up. We can't say, oh, I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about, you know, Black Lives Matter, and, you know, we go out there and march in a circle and, you know, say justice, no peace, and, you know, Black Lives Matter. It's like, what? That's exactly what it is, because nothing else is coming from it. Nothing else. We're just riling up a lot of these white supremacist liberals who just love to cleverly call black people idiots. And that's exactly what this Black Lives Matter movement has been to me. They have actually made us seem like the most docile, moronic, idiotic people on the planet. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad at me, because they're going to see soon people are going to see that this has been all for naught. That we put our, you know, our moral might behind some duplicitous, disgusting, just, I don't know, I can't think of the words, you know, because it's just crazy to see that we don't see what this is, that they're just using us. I think Black Lives Matter actually means black as in dark, as in evil lives matter. Because what's happening with what these people are doing is using our moral might to invigorate their bourgeoisie revolution, so they can hide behind morality, like communists always do throughout history. They hide behind morality, and so you can ignore their deleterious and their you know, horrific actions. But anyway, that's my thought of the day.